multiplayer 7 Days to Die with Silverblade.
Damn it, son of a... Ouch.
You must remember to,
88 miles per hour!
Don't you feel foolish?
Greetings, minions, engineers, and fellow gamers. This is Silverblade playing Space Engineers Beta. And my computer keeps freezing up every now and then. And this is episode number 21. And as you may be able to see, I'm trying to come up on this silicon boulder that we had scouted many moons ago. Not literal moons, but you get the idea. The reason why I'm mining up some silicon is because... reasons. Actually, I just need to make sure I have an ample supply to make all the bulletproof glass and that kind of goodness so we can enclose the base this week. At least hope to. So let's see if we can get into range, y'all. Alright, so the downward lights is kind of flashing on it, so we need to center up. Alright. So that looks like a good lineup right there. So now we will just level up and get ready to munch this boulder into nothingness. So I'm going to go with the automatic drills. And that isn't the automatic drill thing. It's the wrong button. I'm a little discombobulated, if you will, because lack of caffeine has kind of gotten to me. So I'm kind of fighting off a little bit of congestion, but mostly a caffeine headache, or withdrawal headache, rather. Getting better, though. So you can see, we're just plowing through this like it was nothing. So we'll let the drills do their work for a moment. Now, I was thinking about going to an actual silicon deposit to do all this work, but if I get all the silicon here, I could take it off the map, and boulders are a lot easier to mine than actual deposits. A little more rewarding in a way, too, because it's nice to see the boulder just kind of erode away. And, yeah. Kind of getting hung up on the one side here, so we'll just come up here like this, slot it out. Now, I was asked, or mentioned rather, in a comment from last week, how I have the ship designed in terms of the sorters and ejectors. Now, you can kind of see right now how everything is when it's working. And if I can, I'll turn the drills off for a moment here. So, there we go. It's cycled it all out. Now, if you can see on the deck here, there's a spotlight. Like on this corner in particular, you see the two spotlights on the corner. And above it is two ejectors. If you look on it from this other angle, you can see right next to that thruster and the spotlight that there is a sorter there. Now underneath is the grid that all the drills are attached to, and that the grid also attaches to the cargo containers. You know, they just kind of all line up through there. So they're all interlinked, and they go to the cargo containers, and they also all link to the sorters. The sorters go up into a conveyor junction, and then that junction goes to an ejector that's aimed outwards. The sorters are set so that stone is whitelisted, so only stone will go through the sorter. And then the ejectors are set so that they will drain all, so meaning they will pull everything they can through. So in this case, only stone can come through, so it'll just eject out the stone. So that's just how I have that set up. Now on the Mark II vertical miner, there are drills along the sides as well as ones pointing down, and I had to reposition everything on this deck level here to accommodate that. Unfortunately, the ejectors would spit out the stone on top of the drills, and it would just sit there. They wouldn't be removed from the ship. They would just kind of sit on the ship. So that's one of the problems I'm going to have to overcome when I start redesigning the Mark II. So hopefully this gives you a little insight as to how this beast works. So let's get back to work. So up a little bit, and then get those drill heads working up into that. Just kind of tapping the head a little bit. And it's looking good, so now we can drop down a little bit. And the camera view is going to get spastic here if I'm not careful. I hate spastic view. So I hope that the game developers will fix that, or give you the option to turn it on and off. Much like they did with the automatic block facing. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather manually do it and have it stay in that position. I mean, every now and then it can be useful, but most of the time it's not. Alright, so there's a little more resources right there. Make sure we're relatively level. And start digging in sideways a little bit. We have to go up. So just widen this hole out a little bit, because there's some resources underneath the boulders into the actual ground, and I just like to be thorough. And try to get it level again. Alright, so come up. Doesn't look like there's any more underneath there. There might be a little spot right here. It's probably just a spot. And it does look like we cleaned this area out pretty good for this particular boulder. Alright, so turn off the drills, let everything kind of cycle out. Let's take a look at the billboard here. 139k silicon. That's not too terribly bad for a boulder. And we didn't have to go digging through many meters of rock just to get there. So, yay! Alright, so we got 2 more boulders worth of silicon that we have previously scouted. So let's go and chop these bad boys up. I'd rather have too much silicon than not enough right now. Alright, so I gotta be careful my speed here, because as the sun goes down, the depth perception kind of goes to crap. And I really do not relish the idea of slamming into a mountainside. So let me straighten this out a little bit. Alright. So it is a little bit tedious, but in my mind it's worthwhile. Alright, so let's rotate sideways. Okay, so that's looking about right. But then again, it can be a little deceptive too. Alright, so come in on the high side here. Center it up. Auto drills. This probably won't be a pulse-pounding, awe-inspiring episode, but hey, it's part of the tedium of the game. Another comment, and I can't remember exactly who said what at this point, asked me if this game is worth buying. And I gave him an answer, so he should by now have an answer to his question, but I'll relay it on to the rest of you guys who may not read the comments, or may never read the comments, or those who just want to answer right now. Is this game worth buying? Alright, well, if I was to recommend this game, there would be some criteria that I would have to make mention of, and you guys can answer the question yourself. So the first criteria or issue would be, do you have patience? This is not a game for people who need pew 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 every 30 minutes or an explosion every 5 minutes to enjoy. This is a game that requires a lot of time, a lot of patience. Oftentimes you'll be in slow, cumbersome vehicles. It may take you a while to progress to some extent. So if you're not in a rush, this game might be for you. If you are adverse to technical details and just want to quick play a game, this game is not for you. This is a game that takes a lot of preparation in certain areas to make things come about, make things worthwhile. So if you are in for if you're looking for a game that just you can play in an hour and be done, this game is not for you. If you're looking for a game that has a lot of strategy elements to it, like a RTS, this game doesn't really have that aspect to it, so it might not be for you. But if you like a technical game, you know, with a lot of things to consider, if you are very technically minded, if you're very numbers minded even, then this game might be for you. For the previous criteria, if you want a game where you can pretty much get right into the action and pew 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 and explosions, or you just want to play a quick game of, where this game may not be for you, I would say Empyrean Galactic Survival may be more your style. You can kind of roughhouse the ships a little bit more in that game. This game, things are a lot more delicate, in my opinion, and so you may want to consider that as a game to buy if that's what you're looking for. Now, I'm not trying to sell games to people. I'm just on here to have fun. But if you do ask the question, you know, is this game worth buying? It just depends on your mindset, and if it appeals to you just based on going slow, being methodical, a little OCD doesn't hurt. You know, these are things to consider. Another thing is, this game, even though it's in beta, as it supposedly says, it does have some quirks to it, some glitches, some bugs. And if you have the patience to deal with those, or to overcome those, then this game may be for you. I'm a person that doesn't believe that there is such a thing as a game that is for everybody. Games kind of have to fit a mood, fit a niche, something that kind of fills a void or hits a certain vibe with people. And this game will work on some levels to certain kinds of people and none at all to other kinds. So just want to get that out there for those of you who see this and want to know. It can be a lot. I mean, all games in their own right, in their own way, can be fun. Unless they're so horribly designed that they're either barely functional or just flat out make zero sense. But for the most part, most games are designed for fun. But again, they have to fit those certain niches, and people have to have a certain mindset to be open to those kind of niches. I don't see RTS players, or not RTS players, but first-person shooter players getting as much fun out of this game as, say, Empyrean. Mostly because, like, I'm on Mars right now. There's no enemy threat, really, except for, I guess you could say, the meteor storms are an enemy threat. There's no challenge, really, on Mars. On Earth, on the alien planet, in space, you have drones. You know, you have the alien spider things. And then you have, like, the cyber wolves. Those are more of a challenging threat, I guess, that would add that dynamic. But even then, I don't really see them as like a FPS type threat, or even a flight sim, flight combat threat for the most part, because they just don't. There's no structured play around those, I guess. But it does not take away from the fact that this game has its fun sides to it. It also has its aggravating sides, so if you're not horribly patient, you're going to have a bad day. We've got to turn those drills off. So hopefully that answers the question, not only for the original poster of that question in the comment section, but also for anyone else that may be curious. Where one game fails, another game may excel and succeed. Alright, so we're going to try to head up over to this boulder. Then we can wipe the boulders off my GPS coordinates, because they're all wiped out. At least I think they are. Yeah, there's only 3 silicon boulders, and we already eliminated 2. So this will be the last one. And we're at 278k, so we should be able to suck up this last boulder with no problem. And the game's still trying to load in here, so hopefully it's not too terribly glitchy here. And this one is down there in that kind of valley area, so this might be a little difficult to visualize. And I'm freezing up now. That's one thing I'm not quite liking about this game, is that the freeze-ups sometimes throw my audio-video sync out of whack. So kind of yeah, here we go again. That's a harder freeze up there. Now mind you, I'm on a 6-core AMD, 2 gigs of RAM on my GTX 760, 16 gigabytes of decent RAM. I hate to imagine what it's like for someone with a slower computer. And I say this as my room is actually getting quite warm from the heat coming off the back of my computer. There's a boulder down there. Okay, there it is. It's one thing to see the marker, it's another to actually see the boulder. And almost stopped on a dime there. Turn those drills on. So, yeah, that's about right. Punk. Alright, so that'll take a little bit to grind up. Ooh. It's kind of cool seeing those boulders rolling downhill instead of getting clogged up in the drill heads. Because sometimes I wonder if I'm re-picking up the boulders with the drill heads. I'm not 100% sure if that is what's going on sometimes, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll get the mystery solved at some point, but not likely this episode. I just want to get the silicon and get back home. Alright, so dive down a little bit more. Try to keep that nose up. Ah! Alright, plow ahead a little bit. And freeze up. And make sure we try to get every little drop of silicon we can. Plunge into it a little more. As you can see, some of the silicon there in the dirt, that's not even part of the boulder. So when I said that there's often resources beneath and around it, well, there's an example of it. And just uncovering more and more. Kind of have to widen this out a little bit. Okay. Getting rattled around a little bit there. Okay. Straighten this up a little bit. There we go. Any second now, there'll be another meteor storm. Just watch. Ooh, opened up a few more little pockets of silicon. Okay, so nose Nose down a little bit. Try to keep it level. How are we doing over on this side? Okay. Should be pretty close to done here, guys. Alright. From the looks of it, I think we got it all. So now, while drills are draining, let's erase these. Because I do not believe they respawn at all. And we have a total of 332K of silicon on board. Which is pretty good. I think that's about the most we can get on it, really. But there's going to be a bunch. It's probably not even measured. Let's see. We got some in the cockpit. And we got some that are stored in the drills themselves. And 91.2K silicon in all 3 cargo containers. So the ship is pretty much filled to the brim with silicon. So we're going to have enough to last a good long time. So let's mosey on back to base. And let's see, we'll nose forward. Try to get that momentum going really nice and good with those larger atmospheric thrusters. And we have to whip it up quick so that we can start getting a lift. So we have the forward momentum and the lift. Puts us at 99.9 meters a second, which is good. Alright, so our forward momentum is about 80 meters a second. We still need to get a little more lift here. And I'm freezing up. Really freezing up, which is annoying. I guess that just means it's a Mountain Dew break, right? Come on, computer. Hello, computer. I'm actually talking to my mouse. Hello, computer. Please hurry the hell up. Okay, thank you, love you, bye. If this doesn't pick up in a minute here, I might have to just say the outro. Come on. Alright. Well, I guess... Alright, there we go. See, I had to threaten it and be, like, serious. That's irritating. It could be that when I... You see, when I start Space Engineers... Especially after I've had my computer off and then turn it back on and then get back into the game. There's this issue where Windows 7 says, do you want to keep the color scheme and all this bull crap? It's like, bitch, I told you many times before I want to keep it. Why are you telling me or asking me again? And I don't know if the alt-tabbing effect of that is causing some of this lag and freeze-ups, but it's not exactly welcome. So try to go horizontal or vertical, whatever you want to say with that, and then that slowed our speed down. Hopefully we don't come crashing into the base. Okay, so we're a little bit off in the base. That's good. So you just gotta watch the speed. Try to keep it level too. That kind of helps with steering. Okay, so now we're getting pretty dang close to the ground. get in here at the right altitude. Get into the docking port area. Almost lined up perfectly, I think. Just a little high. Okay, so we just need to turn it a little and back up. And then pull in and just give it a little kiss. And lock it, and we are done. So let's see the progress here on the board. As you can see, there's over 417K of silicon. That's after it's drained it all out of the drills that didn't make it into the rest of the system. So that's going to give us enough silicon to make plenty of bulletproof glass or displays so that we can put windows up all the way around that level up there. And all should be well. So once we get the base done and weapons in place, or the turrets in place, then we can strip down the atmospheric lander because we won't be needing that anymore. Cool. Alright, so hopefully this video didn't get really thrown out of whack in terms of audio-video sync. I noticed that whenever I have videos where that happens, you know, the game freezes up, it starts throwing things out of sync. Can't really do a hell of a lot about it without really getting my hands dirty and messing around with stuff that makes it all come across as really disjointed and uncomfortable. And yeah, so bear with me on that, guys. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Do check out the links in the description box below. And that is it for me. So until next time, see you later. Twitch, Twitch.